Get ready for a history lesson at the speed of a Mongol arrow. Did you know that 0.5% of all men alive today share DNA with one man? That man is Genghis Khan, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. Today, we're diving into 50 insane facts about the Mongol Empire, all in under 5 minutes. This is going to be fast. Hit that like button and subscribe to Clusterstory so you don't get left in the dust. Let's go. The Mongol war machine was unstoppable. Mongol children learned to ride horses at just 3 years old. They were such skilled riders they could sleep on horseback. Their archers could fire arrows backward while galloping at full speed, a move called the Parthian shot. Their composite bows could shoot over 350 meters, outranging their enemies. They wore silk shirts under their armor. Why? Because if an arrow hit them, it would wrap around the arrowhead, allowing it to be pulled out without tearing the flesh. To survive long marches without stopping for supplies, they would drink blood from their own horses. They used special whistling arrows which created a terrifying sound, demoralizing enemies before the battle even began. They feigned retreats to lure enemies into deadly ambushes. Every single male over the age of 14 was a mandatory soldier. Their vast communication network, the YAM, could relay messages over 200 miles. In a single day, they didn't have siege engines at first, so they captured engineers from other armies and forced them to build catapults. Mongol horses were small but incredibly tough, able to survive on almost nothing. They organized their army in a decimal system, with units of 10, 100. But their conquests came at a horrific cost. The Mongols killed an estimated 40 million people. That was a staggering 11% of the entire world's population at the time. The death toll was so massive, it's believed that huge areas of farmland turned back into forests. This new growth absorbed so much carbon dioxide from the atmosphere that it may have caused a global cooling event, a reverse climate change. In the city of Nishapur, they didn't just kill the population. They allegedly built pyramids out of their severed heads. When they besieged Baghdad, the center of Islamic learning, they destroyed the House of Wisdom. It's said they threw so many books into the Tigris River that the water ran black with ink. They had a rule against spilling royal blood. So when they captured the Caliph of Baghdad, they wrapped him in a rug and had their horses trample him to death. They used human shields, forcing captured civilians to charge the walls of their own cities. They would catapult diseased bodies over city walls to spread plague, an early form of biological warfare. If one soldier retreated in a unit of 10, all 10 were executed. The city of Samarkand was razed so completely that a survivor said it was more level than a floor. They wiped out entire bloodlines of rival leaders. Their destruction of irrigation systems in the Middle East turned fertile lands into desert for centuries. They believed in collective punishment, wiping out whole cities if one person defied them. And they even used cats and swallows, strapping flaming material to them and sending them back into wooden cities to start fires. Yet after all that destruction came a surprising peace. The era was called the Pax Mongolica, or Mongol Peace. Under their rule, trade flourished. It was said a maiden could walk from one end of the empire to the other with a gold plate on her head and never be harmed. They created the first international passport system called the Pesa. These were gold or silver tablets that gave officials and merchants safe passage and supplies. Genghis Khan established complete religious freedom. Christians, Muslims, and Buddhists all served in his administration. They weren't needlessly cruel. Torture was used for intelligence or compliance, not for sport. Women in the Mongol Empire held significant power. They could own property, divorce their husbands, and often ran the empire while the men were away at war. They created the first paper money to be used across a continent. They established a reliable postal service that connected the East and West like never before. They were patrons of the arts and sciences, relocating scholars and artisans across their empire. And they established a written legal code, the Yasa, which unified the tribes under one law. So what brought it all to an end? The empire was too big to manage. They tried to invade Japan twice, but both times their fleets were destroyed by massive typhoons, which the Japanese called the kamikaze or divine wind. Their unstoppable army was finally defeated by the Mamluks of Egypt at the Battle of Ain Jalut. The Black Death spread rapidly along their trade routes, devastating the empire. From within, ultimately, the Mongol Empire didn't fall to an outside enemy. It fractured from within as Genghis Khan's descendants fought each other over power and succession. And for our final, most mysterious fact, to this day, the tomb of Genghis Khan has never been found. Legend says that after he was buried, 1,000 horsemen trampled the ground to hide it. Then the horsemen were executed, and those who executed them were also killed, all to keep the location an eternal secret. That was 50 facts. Did you keep up? This is Cluster Story. Thanks for watching.